Well, I guess we are live. I don't know. It says the the counter's going, and here I am sitting here trying to figure it out with my phone, trying to get it figured out. So if I'm live, uh, say hi to me. And I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure out my phone, trying to get it situated. And I didn't mean to push the live button, but I did. So I'm all new to this. Yeah, I apologize. I have done lives like on TikTok. I can't get my phone to be normal. I have done lives on TikTok and stuff like that, but I've never done a YouTube live. So this is kind of, like I said, is also new to, oh, green screen. I didn't want that. There's so many things on here I didn't know I could do. So anyways, and if you're here, say hi. And I'm trying to see if I can see my comments. I was looking on my iPad. So if you're new here or if you know me, and I'm, like I said, I'm new to this. I don't really know what I'm doing. So anyways, but I don't see comments, so I don't know if, let's see. Anyways, yeah, so I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I apologize. Right. So anyways, but yeah, this is my first live. So that is my dog over here. She's not dying or, well, she could be, who knows. She is like 17 years old. And anyways, she just has to be near me all the time. So hang on, let me get into my, see if I can see. Yep, there I am. Sorry. Okay. Well, anyways, one of you is here, and if you can just say hi to me and let me do some testing. I know Plain Vanilla Grandma was in the house, I think, because she's so sweet and said I'm here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have somebody in there. So I was excited, so thank you. And I apologize that my glasses are in. I don't know how to fix that. If you know how to fix that, let me know, because I don't know how to fix to keep my ring light from showing up in my glasses unless I take them off, and I can take them off, but then I can't see. And so, like I said, oh, and there's Plain Vanilla Grandma. Hey girl, hey girl. So say hi if you're on. And if you don't know me, welcome to my world. My name is Candace Lynn, and this is my channel, Carry On Candace. I am small beans compared to so many of my community and people, hi there, that I have gotten to know. I basically, my platform is I am over 50. I am single and solo, or no, silver and solo, because I got a lot of silver in my hair. Anyway, so I'm just here, and I'm trying to grow my channel. Like I said, mainly my content is about just, well, it's just about being over 50, like I said, and I have ADHD, so I'm very open about that. I do have ADHD. I was diagnosed when I was 56, and so yeah, I do struggle with that. I work in a funeral home. A lot of people have asked me, what do you do? Hey, Carol. Well, it's okay. It's just a number. Doesn't mean anything. And so anyways, yeah, I work in a funeral home. A lot of people have asked me to do like stuff on it, and I really cannot really go into that. That's kind of a HIPAA thing, and I do work for a local family, and I don't want to go on there and, you know, I don't need to expose anything. But I did start a playlist, and I've only got one thing on it, and it's about it's lessons I have learned from the dead. And I do have one installment or one episode in there. So if you want to catch it, it's about a man that I didn't know while he was alive, but it's really, you get to know so much about a family, sadly, when their loved one passes. And anyways, this was a story about Mr. D. And so the thing is, I am going to, I'm going to be on my playlist. I'm going to do um, life lessons I've learned from the dead. And I've got a couple I need to work on. And anyways, yeah, and people have asked me. I mean, I've worked in social services. I worked in foster care. And working in a funeral home, especially at this age, I really enjoy it. And one of my favorite people on YouTube that I watch a lot, well, I think she's on TikTok too, is Lauren the Mortician. And she is a young mortician. I think she works for her family-owned business. I don't know if you've ever seen her, but she's got pink hair. And anyways, she's one of my favorite people to watch. And then I do watch another guy. He's actually works in a crime lab in the same state that I live in the capital, and his name is GW, I think is his name. And I like him, but that's a whole other world. So anyways, if you have any questions for me that are, that I will answer, I'm not going to play those games. So, you do you, boo. I do me, you do you. So anyways, but most of y'all know I love to shop. So today I went by my favorite store on my way home. And anyways, yeah, I usually buy a lot of jewelry. I love jewelry. I love mainly costume jewelry. I'm not real big into like diamonds and, fine jewelry. I guess because I can't afford that. Hi, Jasper. I'm glad you're here. So today, I love Cato's shoes. They usually have really good deals on their shoes. Well, they have good deals on everything. But so today I went and bought these shoes, and I really wanted them, but I thought, the original price on them was like $35. And I just don't spend a lot of money on my clothes. I don't like to. So anyways, these shoes were marked down to $10.99. And I mean, how do you beat those? I mean, are those not fabulous? I mean, my daughter rolled her eyes when she seen it. Hi, Jeffrey. Anyway, yeah, I know. But I'll wear them, and I will take a picture of myself. So, I know. Are they not a gorgeous, like, that is a royal blue. And I noticed they got these little things in here to keep, there's like bling in there. My daughter one day said something about dressing like an old lady, and I said, do I dress like an old ladies wear shoes like this? I don't know. They had some that had pearls on them that I absolutely loved, but the heel was a little higher. I can't go much higher than that heel or a wedge. I can use a wedge. I can wear a wedge heel, but I can't. Anyways, I know, isn't that bling gorgeous? Gorgeous. I know. So anyways, when I figure out what to wear with them, that was my haul for today. And then my daughter and I went to, there's a place on Main Street, and the lady was selling dollar t-shirts. So we new t-shirts. So, I like to bleach dye t-shirts, and I sell them in my flea market booth. And anyways, so I bought a bunch of those. So I'm going to do those probably this weekend. So Plain Vanilla Grandma, my friend Carol, she said, how did you get interested in working in a funeral home, if that is okay to discuss? Yes, that is okay to discuss. And if I have to start from the beginning. If I was younger, I would like to go to school to be an embalmer or a mortician. I'm not going to start that journey now, but I work with a lady who's younger than me, and she is a licensed mortician and embalmer. She doesn't do a lot of the embalming and mortician work anymore, as far as doing embalming and stuff like that. But she, and I'm sorry, my dog, she's so old and she sits over here and coughs. But she does, she's kind of taught me a few things as far as, applying makeup or, using certain things. And so, anyways, um, so it goes back like, oh my gosh, over 30 years ago. But um, I had a really good friend of mine. She was a, um, she was, I used to be a manicurist. I did nails for years. And this is how I met this woman. And both my grandmoms were gone. And when I started doing her nails, she was in her 70s. And she worked at the funeral home down here, the local funeral home. And so her name was Peggy, and she was like a grandmother to me and my children. And she was there when I had both my kids, and she was a super lady, and she lived to 99. And she worked at this funeral home till she was 90. And the reason she retired was simply because she felt like she was just too old to be, that a young person needed her job. Well, the woman that took her job when Peggy retired at 90 was a friend of mine that I grew up with. And funny thing is, she worked that position for 32 years, and she retired last March. Well, they had called me to work part-time. Like, I worked like services. I would help them with visitations, just be there, just be an extra person. And I would do that, and they would hire me to do that. I did that part-time, and it worked out good because at the time I was taking care of my mother, who was 93 and who did pass. And then and I was just kind of in between jobs. So, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I mean, I knew like I said, I've done social services. I've worked in foster care. I was at the point that I was just really tired of saving people. I mean, in a sense, that's what I called it. I was kind of tired of just having to go and help people. And, when their kids were in foster care, and then they lost their kids because they couldn't pass drug tests, or it's just a whole process. And it's just sad. And I'm such an empath. I'm a huge empath. And so anyways, so I got out of it. I was working, like I said, I was working social service. I was a social service director in a nursing home. And I believe that I seen a lot of death. I had to talk to people about hospice. I had to talk to people about palliative care. Um, I sat with people when they died. Um, I have sat with several people when they went on. So death is not something that scares me or doesn't bother me. Um, I mean, I tell people I'm a believer. I believe that there is life after this world, and I believe, and I would say I'm Christian, and that's how I believe. And it may not what everybody believes, and that's fine. And I respect anybody and everybody's reasoning, but that is how I felt. And so when like I said, I was between jobs in social service, foster care. Then I took a job for a short time in where I worked with people that had disabilities, and I absolutely loved that job. I had a background in special ed. I have worked in special ed as a paraprofessional, and I've worked with autism kids, and I love it. So, anyways, like I said, so when my friend who took the friend's job that retired at 90, and she retired just recently in her 60s, she said, "You really ought to come and take this job." And I was like, "Well, I'd love to take that job, but I thought I need to make more money, and the job that I had, I made more money, but I was working like 10, 12 hours a day, then coming home and had a phone that my clients or people had to call me. So I was on call basically 24 hours, and I hated it. So, and anyways, my friend kept saying, "Hey, I'm retiring in March of 24." And she said, "You really need to come and take this job." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll think about it." And I thought about it. And one day my sister called me. My sister's a little older than me. And she called me and she said, you know, and I'm very open about my age. I'm in my late 50s. And she said, are you going to be able to be saving people when you're in your 60s? Which, I mean, people I know do it all the time, but mentally I was like drained. I was exhausted. And so I really thought about it and I prayed about it. And so I took that job in a funeral home over a year ago, full-time job. Like I said, I'd worked for them a little bit. So it was, I don't know. I don't know if I channeled my mother or what, but um, it was kind of hard to get used to at first. But now people say, "Ooh, how do you touch dead people? And how do and um, it's, it's really hard to explain. I mean, I know that there are people probably out there that don't, maybe it's just a job to them. They don't have a passion for it or anything, but um, I think it's a very respectable work. Um, and I know that there are some that are not respectable, funeral homes and stuff, but I work for an amazing family and they're really good to me and good to all of us employees, and we're locally owned, so we're not corporate owned. So, uh, like I said, someone said, well, how can you stand to be around all the sadness? And like I said, I go back to my beliefs, and it's sad. I mean, I lost my mom 2 years ago, and like I said, I like to think that I kind of channel her when I work with families or work with people. And one of the things I do remember when I lost my mother is my friend had done her hair, and she said, well, come in here. And I went in there while she was working on my mother was deceased. And the most rewarding thing for me to do for my mother after she passed was to polish her nails. And I know that just seems like such a brief little thing to do for somebody, but I always polished my mom's nails when she was in the nursing home. Or if I didn't, I would ask people to do it and that worked there, and they would always do it. And anyways, so the last gesture, my dog's over there growling. The last gesture that I did for my mother when she went on, or after she passed, was I polished her nails. So I really, when I have to go, I mean, I've been asked to do people's hair. I've been asked to put makeup on them. Mainly the funeral directors do that, but I really like to do people's nails because, like I said, I was a manicurist for 13 years, and so I do like to do that. A lot of times people don't have a hairdresser, so they'll ask me, hey, Candace, can you fix so-and-so's hair? And I'm like, sure, I mean, I love doing it. And so I would have to say one of my most rewarding things that I did for a deceased person. And like I said, I'm so sorry. Zoe's sitting right here, and Zoe is 17 years old, and she's really having a rough time these last couple of months, but she's had a good life. But anyway, she just sits by me. But I would have to say my most rewarding thing that I did working in a funeral home and with somebody who is deceased. And but when you get people who have had cancer, and they've been going through treatments, and they lose their eyebrows and they lose their hair, and so anyways, we had this lady, and she was a sweet lady, but she'd been battling cancer, and she had worked at a local school. And I think she had finally retired that year, but anyway, she'd been battling cancer, so she'd lost all her hair and she lost her eyebrows. And I have not, thank God, I've never had to deal with anything like that before as far as cancer, and knock on wood, I hope I don't ever have to. But she anyways passed because she was very sick and she had the cancer. So I went in there, and they wanted very little makeup on her, and that's fine, and so they said, can you draw her some eyebrows on? And so of course, my boss, he's a funeral director. He said, I don't know how to draw eyebrows. I said, I can do it. I'll do it. I mean, if it's okay. And so anyways, I got one of them really teeny tiny, I laugh because some of our funeral directors, they're men, and when they go to put eyebrows on people, they just draw them on there. I said, no, you've got to do them. You've got to kind of feather the on there. So anyways, make a long story short, I put eyebrows. I painted some eyebrows on this lady who had lost all of her hair due to chemo. And her family came to me, or well, they said something about, oh, thank you, she hasn't had eyebrows, and that's just one of the nicest things you can do. And so they had come to me and told me, and to me it was just such a simple act. It wasn't like it was anything major, uh, but it meant a lot to them, and that I went in there and took the time to draw her some on there. And as a matter of fact, her eyebrows kind of looked like mine. So I guess I used myself as reference. But I would say that is probably one of the most rewarding things. And it was kind of like, it was earlier in when I had started, and it was just kind of like a confirmation, God's confirmation to me that I was where I needed to be, as far as like I said, I've had careers. I was a mother. I raised my 2 kids. Anyways, and now I'm at a different time in my life, and I think I've told y'all, I claim to be silver and solo. So, the silver hair and solo, and just living my life the way I want to live it. I've lived my life for a husband. I lived my life for my parents. I lived my life for my kids. And I just got so much gratitude watching my kids grow up, and just watching just life. But I would have to say that my most fulfilling times in my life right now is where I'm at. And yeah, some days it can be, this week has been really busy. A lot going on. One of the people we lost this week, and it was sad, but I hadn't seen this person in a long time. But his mother was there, and this man, he was in his 60s, but him and I had went to the prom together when we were in high school. I was 16, and I think he was a senior, and then he passed this week. So that was kind of humbling. And then the other person that passed this week that I knew, had a connection to, this is Zoe, and she's just a big old dog. She's wanting down. The other one was a friend of mine's. Her husband passed away this week. And it was just so heartbreaking because I remember, they'd been married like 35 years. And I remember when they got married. Anyways, it's so heartbreaking, because she lost her husband. Of course, I've been divorced for 10 years, so I've never been in any situation like that. So that was really hard because she was so heartbroken today. And they were behind the, hearse, or the coach is what we call it. And I seen some red roses there, and I grabbed one of the red roses, and I went out there and handed it to her because they had a long trip to the cemetery. It's going to be over an hour to get to the cemetery. And I said, this is for you. I said, this what, I figured she could lay it on her husband's grave. So I guess when I've got to look at it, it's just, I try to learn a lesson from anything that I do, from anything that I have done, and working in the funeral service, because we're all going to be there eventually. We're all going to have to cross that door or go out that door. And it is a very, it can be very humbling. It can be very rewarding. It can be sad, but I don't know. I just have such a compassion for people, and like I said, I'm in a place now where I can serve people, and it's not just serving. Hey, lady. Hey, silver-haired wisdom. It's not just the fact of taking care of that person and putting them to their final resting. It's letting that family know that you're not just there. Yeah, you do a funeral, you plan a funeral for them. We tell people we plan funerals in 3 days, where people spend a year to 2 years or longer to plan a wedding. you know, and we have, you know, funeral homes. I mean, we've got to do, and I design a lot of the memorials and stuff. So, you know, if there's anything special, like I've had people that are into fishing, and I put fishing stuff on their memorials, and I need to show y'all some of those, but I do design those sometimes. And if they want pictures on them or poems or stuff like that. And so, like I said, back to there's just so much to planning a funeral. And so, I mean, and it takes a village. It's not just one or two people, but it takes so many people to prepare not only a body and stuff, but it takes people to be there for the families. And that is something, like I said, the people I work for, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, it's very rewarding, you know, and yeah, there is sadness when people lose someone that they love. But like I said, I take it, I feel like it's my time to serve. This is where God has me right now, and I enjoy it. And people say, I don't know how you stand it. I don't know how you work around it. How do you touch people when they're dead? You know, and we're all going to be there. You know, it's all going to happen to us. And I would hope that somebody would be, that will take care of me, you know, take care of my body and take care of me when I pass. And like I said, and it's not just taking care of the deceased, it's that bond that you have with that family. And maybe not all funeral homes and places are like that, but the bond you have with families. Where I work is close to where my hometown was, so I do know a lot of people. But then I know a lot of people, I don't know a lot of people. But you work with those families, you get to know them. When you do video montages for them, like when we put pictures on videos and stuff, you see pictures of that person that is deceased from the time they were a baby to the time they were bouncing their grandchildren on their knee. And you learn so much about a family, and just seeing pictures on a 10-minute video that we make. And like I said, we may plan funerals in 3 days, but we take a lot from it. And I mean, I know I do. And like I said, that's why I started that playlist of lessons I've learned from the dead. And I've only got one episode, so I'm really going to try to. And like I said, they're not anything major. I think the last one I did was on a man who, I didn't even know him, but I met his daughters, and I met his family, and I looked at pictures of him, and he lived life really big. I mean, he enjoyed life, and I mean, he skydived, I think they said, and hang glide, and rode motorcycles, and I tell everybody he lived life big, or out loud maybe, and I wish we could all be that way. So I'm sorry about all this space up here. I really thought that I had this ready, but anyways, so yeah. And if you have any more questions about funeral stuff that I can answer, I will. Like I said, I don't want to get too personal, because I don't know if I really have that. Oh, hey, Pink Impossible. Hey, girl. I just feel like, it just feels cool, because now I feel like I'm going to get out and to get to know y'all now. Yeah. So, and a lot of y'all have absolutely enjoyed watching your channels, and I appreciate you tuning into mine tonight, because like I said, this is my first live. I know I've been trying to do it for a year, but nothing ever seems to happen. And my daughter, I said, well, I got to get back because I need to work on stuff for our booth tomorrow. And I was wanting Waffle House. I mean, if you've heard of Waffle House, let me know in comments. I love Waffle House. Sometimes I just crave Waffle House. And so that's what we did. We went to Waffle House. We went, bought some dollar t-shirts, and then we went to Waffle House. So, I mean, I love Waffle House. So anyways, sorry, I'm going to get back on I'm a see. Not that I want to watch myself on video, but so if you have any other questions about that, yeah, about my working in a funeral home, stuff like that. I mean, I can tell you what I can. I just don't want to get too personal into, you know. Anyways, so let's see. I did show y'all my shoes. I don't know if Pink Impossible saw my shoes or Silver Haired Wisdom, but let me show you my shoes. I know, it's not amazing. I know Pink Impossible would probably appreciate these. She'd probably appreciate it if they were pink, maybe. Yeah, yeah, Plain Vanilla Grandma. If you're not, you need to go follow her, and then you girls need to follow each other. So, all things Pink's Impossible. Her and I think, have been at this at the same time. I mean, we've been going on YouTube for a long time, and so I know. You know what? I paid $10.99 for these shoes. They're brand new. And they were on clearance. Yep. So anyways, I know Pink Impossible, she appreciates, look at the bling in them. So yeah, we've been celebrating those. So anyways, so yeah, that was, yeah. I've never eaten at Waffle House, and there's one that I can see from, oh my gosh. Now I love Pink. I will admit, I do like McDonald's. But I don't know, sometimes I just crave cheesy scrambled eggs and bacon. And that's what I did. I went and my daughter and I just went. She had a waffle and I had hash browns and bacon. I mean, I didn't eat it all, but I don't know. Just sometimes I just crave it. And I see my silver-haired wisdom friend. She loves Waffle House. So Waffle House is. I mean, it's. I mean, like today I went in there and I thought, ooh, man, the hamburger looks good. I thought, no, you don't come to Waffle House and eat a hamburger. You come to Waffle House to eat waffles or breakfast. Now, I don't know about you, but I grew up in a time, and we, that's what you did. And maybe they still do that. I don't know, but you used to go out and run around and party, and then oh, see, I love Cracker Barrel breakfast too. But I grew up in a time when, we'd all go party and drink, and then you'd all go to the Waffle House at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Now I don't drink. Now I don't drink my calories. I refuse to drink calories, so I just drink Diet Dr. Pepper. And I tell everybody I'd rather eat food than drink my calories. And alcohol has a lot of calories in it, so I suggest don't do it. So, excuse me. Anyways, I have also had some questions that I was going to ask myself, and I was going to get my daughter to do this with me, and she was just, she may be in there watching me. I don't know. She would have no part of it, so it's okay. I thought, this is my first live on YouTube, so I need to do it. And everybody's told me, you need to do live, because I don't know about y'all, but I am stuck on, I've had the same subscriber count for forever, and it's not, it'll go up and then it'll go down and then it'll go up, and I think it went down today. So YouTube is, their algorithm is so crazy. And so anyways, but I did want to talk about community and Pink Impossible. If you're not following her channel, please reach out. Her and I think, have been at this the same time. We both I know I started in like May or June. And I think she, I don't know, you might have to correct me a little bit, Pinky. But I think we're both have been kind of going. Oh, thank you. I'm glad my first live has been interesting, because I was live and didn't even know it. And I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, it says live. It was a senior moment. I'm gonna, I own it. It was a senior moment. So chicken and dumplings. Okay, yeah, I love chicken and dumplings. Those are probably one of my favorite foods. Yeah, we started just within a couple of weeks of each other. So yeah, so I feel like her and I we've been in this hand in hand, and we met a lot of people. I mean, I've met such a community of people on YouTube. And if you are considering starting YouTube and you haven't got a channel, I know my kids just rolled their eyes at me. I can remember when I got 600 subscribers. I let my son know, or let my son and daughter know, and I said, "Oh my gosh!" We had a text message. I said, "I have 600 people on subscribers on my YouTube," and my son said, "Well, that's great, Mom. That's 600 people that really want to know what you're talking about." So it took me a long time. Yeah, yeah, that may be it. But you know, I don't want to give it up because, in a sense, to me, this is a legacy. This is kind of a legacy. Excuse me. I just took a drink in my doctor. I know people. I know that my kids are just not impressed and they don't watch it, and that's okay. I don't expect them to. Um, but it's something I always wanted to do. But I'm still don't know what my niche is. I mean, I'm still. I still get niche down to anything. Lately, I've been sharing with y'all my reselling, because I love to resell, and then my daughter and I opened a new booth. So no, I'm just gonna keep going. Thank you so much, Pinky. I'm just gonna keep going as long as Pinky's in it. I'll hang in there with her. So, and so many people that I think that Pinky and I both kind of started out with, they're like all monetized now. And hey, that's okay. I mean, I'm really proud of those people because, um, I mean, it's exciting to think that, oh my gosh, but then that you have the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. And, you know, and the angel's like, oh, I'm so proud of them. They're doing so good. And then that little devil's over there going, that should be you. You should be at 1,000 subscribers. Get behind me, devil. I don't need your negativity. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. So yeah, keeping it small, keeping it personal. I just I try to tell, I want people to understand that, when you have ADHD and you're diagnosed at an older age, you're not crazy. I mean, I may look crazy, but I may act crazy, but I'm not crazy. So I'm just quirky. I mean, that's just part of being ADHD is your brain is a lot different than everybody else's, and you think a lot different, but that doesn't make you crazy. That just makes you quirky. So anyways, so yeah, I was trying to think of something. Like I said, I had questions I was going to ask myself. I can't think of any. So, but you know me, if you have been around me, hey, 60 Insane, good to see you. Thank you for joining me for my first live. I mean, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants because I do that so well. I mean, of course, my meds have wore off for the day, so I may go off and have a squirrel moment every now and then, and I'm still trying to figure out this whole ring light thing that it don't show up in my glasses. So I mean, I could take my glasses off, but then I couldn't read your comments. So yes, my first. So yeah, I mean, I've done lives like on Facebook, and I've done lives on TikTok and stuff, and this is just a whole new world. Well, thank you. It took me 59 years to get to this point in my life, silver-haired wisdom. I mean, you just get, I don't know about y'all, but you just get to a point that you just don't care. It's like that comedian I watch. I can't think of her name, but she goes, I don't care. I don't care. And you get to a point in your life where you've lived so reserved, and you've done, you've just lived. Like I said, I've lived my life for my parents. I lived my life for my husband. I lived my life for my kids. And then when I hit 50, I thought, who do I live for now? So anyway, so that I was telling somebody today, normally y'all know I wear different kinds of glasses because I like my glasses different. These I call my funeral home glasses because these are normal. And if you've seen me before, I wear my rainbow. I have some rainbow glasses. I have all kinds of glasses. And so one day I seen some people that we had just done a funeral for that week. And of course, on weekends, I'll be honest. I mean, these are my dress clothes, but on weekends, I wear my tie dye. Well, you see me when I do vlogs. I wear my hair up. I put my rainbow glasses on, and and so, anyways, these people, we had done a funeral for them, and I said, "Hi, how are you?" Of course, I had my tie dye on. I had my rainbow glasses, and I had my hair pulled up, and they were like looking at me, and I said, "Oh," so I took my glasses off. I said, "Sorry, you didn't recognize me," and I said. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that were." Yeah, so I'm like a whole different person on the weekends. I mean, so how many kids? I have two. I have a boy. He's in his 30s, and then I have a girl. And my daughter is home with me right now because she had some health issues, and we are getting those addressed. So, but she usually lives in another state, but she's been here with me for a couple of months because we've been trying to get her health things taken care of. So, anyways, we have got that done, and she's doing really well. And then, of course, most of y'all know I do flea market booths. I'm all into my flea markets, and so her and I opened one together. I mean, we had talked about. I have always wanted to open a resale shop, and so she had too. And so, um, anyways, we just opened. Oh, yeah. I mean, my kids, I mean, they're my whole world. And that's what I tell people. I mean, um, my husband and I were married for 30 years, and then we divorced. Of course, he remarried. And I've never remarried. And, but my kids are just my world. Well, my mama was, and then my mama passed away 2 years ago. And then, of course, when the baby girl, when she moved to another state, I've been lost. I was lost. And so I would have to say that I've been happiest the last couple of months because she's been home, and we do things. And like today, we went and done some quick shopping, and we went and ate at Waffle House. And I mean, my heart is so full right now because I'm getting to do that kind of stuff with her. And I have a boy, and I mean, we have our things in common too, but my daughter's been married for quite a while, so we've missed out on a lot of things. You know, we rekindle our love for Betsy Johnson and going to Ross Dress for Less and eating mac and cheese pizza from CC's. So we did that last night. Yeah, we ate mac and cheese pizza. I don't know if y'all like mac and cheese pizza, but yeah, I'm 59 years old and I love mac and cheese pizza. I never thought I would ever do that, but yeah, so her and I have kind of rekindled our mother-daughter relationship because, like I said, we've been apart for so long. So yes, love me some Ross. So anyways, we both walk in there and we both love Betsy Johnson. And if you don't know who Betsy Johnson is, because I met a lady today who didn't know who Betsy Johnson was. And I told my daughter one day, I said, I strive to be Betsy Johnson. And if you've ever met Betsy Johnson, or ever seen Betsy Johnson, she is a designer. She has her own little unique flow. And so I think she was on Dancing with the Stars a few years ago, but she has bleach blonde hair. She's like in her 70s, maybe close to 80. And she dresses very wild, flamboyantly, bright colors. And her stuff that she designs is always real bright colored. And so my daughter and I both have always had a love for Betsy Johnson. And anyways, she has handbags, she has everything. And so yesterday at Ross, when we walk around the corner, and my daughter goes, "Oh my gosh, Mom." It was just me and her moment. So there was a pair of Betsy Johnson. Um, anyways, me and my daughter, there were these pair of Betsy Johnson shoes. I'm sorry, squirrel there for a minute. And we both just was like, oh, we just was so excited. She wanted to buy them. They were like $39. But, I found them on Amazon, and they're like $110 for a pair of Betsy Johnson. But her stuff is very wild, loud, you know, you name it. Oh, I tell you what, I think there's people who've been on YouTube for many, many years and they're still learning. And then the bad thing is they change up things so fast, like the algorithm, and they change things. So we all are, I think we're all learning every day. I mean, there's some things that I have not started doing on my channel yet because I'm just not, well, I just don't sit down and focus on that stuff for very long. But anyway, say there's squirrel. Back to the Betsy Johnson shoes. Yeah, that was amazing. So her and I shared that moment today, and then we shared the moment of going to eat at Waffle House. So it's this mama's heart is very full, and like I said, there's things that her and I have in common, and then there's things that my son and I have in common. My son and I love he loves 80s hairband music. My son took me to see, he knew how much I loved Queen, and I think when he was 12 or 13 years old, he bought me a Queen Greatest Hits, and he was so proud of himself. He bought it with his own money, and so when the movie Bohemian Rhapsody came out, my Birdie, she's going to decide to bark now. Birdie, no, stop. I'm busy. I got things going on in here. I don't need you interrupting. But my son knew that I loved Queen, and anyways, I love Queen, and he took me to see Bohemian Rhapsody when the movie came out, and I cried like a baby. I don't know about y'all, but that movie, just, there were some parts of it I didn't like, but it was very, I mean, I can remember, and I know those of you who are, yeah, those of you who are my age, and I mean, I can still remember, when they did the big Aid, when they came out in concert, and that performance, not Farm Aid, what was the other one? Live Aid, is that what it was? Anyways, when he, yeah, I gave up on looking for love. I tell people I more likely find a good dog before I find a good man, and I have 3 dogs. Hey, girl, that's another one of my friends right there. So I would love for y'all to kind of get to know each other. We're all just kind of a little family here, but that's my friend Walia, and she has a holistic, she makes holistic products, don't you? Like soaps and face creams and stuff like that. And she has a website. So yeah, so y'all need to check. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm so glad that y'all get to know each other, because I just love getting to know y'all. And so yeah, she just changed her name, and I just love it. So, but I think is it Holy Botanical? I never can, Holy Botany. Gosh, no, .com. You can put it in there, put it in the thing, and that way people can check out your website. But you can also check out, can check her name there too. But anyways, so yeah. But yeah, we were talking about poor little, what's his name? Freddie Mercury. Yeah, so my son and I have things that like that we share, and then my daughter and I should have a share of there we go, holistic botanical creations. Yeah. And like I said, my daughter and I have we share the love of shopping and finding a good bargain. Right now I have a slight addiction to shopgoodwill.com. If you've not discovered it, and you might have, well, no, just go check it out. I'm telling you what, I have got some of the neatest stuff off of Shopwheel. Okay, so the other day, you want to know what I got the other day? The other day, I got, on shopgoodwill.com, I won an auction for what are those called? iRobot. Oh, shopgoodwill.com. I go on there, and then there's a shop, Salvation Army, but you have to put shop in front of it, because it's an auction site. Anyways, I have bought a lot of stuff through there. stuff that I can put in my resale and stuff like that. But you have to pay a little bit much for shipping, but if you can buy it all, like buy from, like I had like 4 lots of stuff that I bought, and the shipping on each one of them was like $15. But by the time they put them together, it was, I think the shipping, I had 12 North Face jackets. Yes, North Face jackets. And I've got them all in, and they all look amazing. And a couple of them had stains on them, but I got them out. And but they are used, and I got 12 of them for $60, and that included shipping. Yeah. So, and you know, they resell pretty good. Like the most expensive one used that after I researched it on, yeah, that is a real deal. Now they might not sell right now, but they'll sell, you know. And then I've thought about getting back and selling online again too. I used to, but yeah, yes. And we're not talking. They were nice ones, nice jackets. So I've got that. Betsy Johnson. I just got a Betsy Johnson makeup bag on there. I might have paid a little more for it than I should have, but I liked it. And anyway, so that was on shopgoodwill.com. But I like to go in, and you can go through your categories. They have a category for everything. But I go into, it'll say, if you go down to the bottom, it'll say bulk. And I have bought several lots, like with clothes that have tags on them and stuff. And then you can just put all bulk, and it'll tell you, so it's like big stuff. But anyways, I think I forgot to say, but I got an iRobot vacuum cleaner on there the other day. I paid $46 for it. Okay, so by the time they shipped it, it was $60. But do you know how much those are brand new? They're like $300 and $400. So I now have a iRobot vacuum, which I already had a vacuum, and I'm telling you, and it's self-emptying. So after it vacuums your floor, it goes back to its home, and then you hear this, I mean, it's loud. I mean, I can't even, it's so loud. It sounds like a jet engine, but it self-empties into a bag, into the little docking station. So anyway, yes, I'm a frugal little thing. I mean, I don't want to pay full price for anything. So that was my funnest thing that I got. And then what was your thing? Yeah, I've bought a lot of purses. Like I have bought lots of vintage, like a lot. Might have like 3 or 4. And I've gotten vintage, I'll get on there, vintage Coach purses. Now, I'm going to say the best thing I got on there was, and this has been last year before last, I don't know, but it was a tote bag, but it was a Michael Kors. You can see my meds wear off so quickly. A Michael Kors tote bag, and it was new. It was so nice, and I got it for $9.99. And then by the time I paid shipping, it was like $20. So everybody said, well, it's probably not real. Well, I know how to check them, and I checked it, and it was real. It was real. Then I got to looking through it, and I thought, oh my gosh, this bag is brand new. And I found the original tags in the pocket of it. So I don't know if it was like a display, but the original tags were in the pocket, and the original price of it was like $200. It was like $300, $290 something or something for this tote bag. And it was probably one of the lower line ones. And I had an online auction, and I sold that bad boy for $75. I mean, and it was real. Like I said, I checked it, I researched it, and I mean, I can check them and tell. And it was real. And I got 75, and I paid 20 for it. I've got, so yeah. So yeah. So that was probably the best thing I got on there and made money on. But yeah, I would, they have so many categories, but I mainly shop like the house. I did get some pictures the other day. I don't think I've paid for them yet, but anyways, you have like 7 days, I think, to pay for your items. So anyways, um, Wylea, did you see my shoes? Did I show you my shoes? Or did you come in after I showed the shoes off? Did you see the shoes? I can't remember if you've seen them or not. Wylea liked my shoes. Look at the bling in them. Yeah. These were $10.99. Yeah, these are brand new. I got these at Cato. You know, I love to shop at Cato. They started out at $35. And anyways, but I didn't know if Wylea, if she came in late and didn't see the shoes or not. But yeah, I gotta figure out what to wear with these. I don't know yet. So anyways, but yeah, there's the, I said, you know, they were worth $10 just to sit in my shoe holder. I mean, to me, they're a piece of art. I mean, I love shoes. What can I say? So yeah. I mean, like I said, they're art to me. So $10, I might just set them on my coffee table. I don't know. Anyways, so y'all have got to know me. I'm just a little, like I said, I'm very quirky, and hopefully I have this thing figured out. And I'm just curious about, well, we won't stay on too long, but I know some of y'all are still new as far, make a great lamp. There we go. I could make 2 lamps and then I could sell them separately. Yep. But you wouldn't want my leg in there. I'm just curious, like, let me know. Okay, 16 saying you're there. How many, are you new to YouTube? Or, I mean, how many, I'm just curious how many subscribers everybody has. And, you know, and how we need to try to figure out, you know, how can we grow so much. And I mean, I know some of us, sorry, my nose ring turns and it bothers me. But I would like to, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I would like for my channel to do really well. 16 saying she started in November. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I lose several. I mean, I know that they say a lot of times they're like bots. And if YouTube sees that they're not real or not genuine accounts, they'll X-nay them. So I understand that. But, well, that's good. You're doing really well. And I mean, I've been at this, I think Pinky and I were talking about Pink Impossible. We both started around the same time in June. And then I know Plain Vanilla Grandma, I think Carol's been at it a while, I thought. I can't remember. I was thinking that she said she had come in and tried to get you to do it. Yeah, I'm small beans. Yeah. Carol, Plain Vanilla Grandma has been at it for 6 years, and you've got a pretty good fan base. You've got, you know, and that's what I like about, I think we're just all just kind of, you know, I think we're all in the same boat. And so, anyways. Okay, Silver Hair Wisdom. I was thinking you started around Christmas time. I couldn't remember. So, yeah, I mean, it just takes time. That's right. The time is now. Hello, Candace. Hope I can stick with you. Thunderstorm is here. Oh, golly. We had those last week. Yeah, those were last week. So, anyways, thanks for being here. I'm glad you're here. I'm answering questions, but they have to be nice questions. I'm not going to... You know, I don't know. I shouldn't even discuss these things. But I hate online dating. I hate it. I don't even do it. And I go on these online dating things and I hate them. So I don't know. I hate when they ask you. I don't know. I have not had any luck with online dating. I mean, and so today I had somebody ask me something really silly, and so I answered him in a really silly way, and he unmatched with me. I guess he didn't like my answer. He wanted to play that game, and I was, no, I ain't playing that game, and I don't want your pictures. Okay, you keep them to yourself. Anyways, yeah. So, like I said, my chances of finding a better dog, a good dog, are better than. Oh, girl, get to bed. Yeah, I'm gonna probably be cutting it short here, and I appreciate those of you who have hung with me. That really, it means so much to me, and I'm just so honored. And YouTube has been. I told my daughter today there was a really nice compliment that somebody made on my YouTube. I can't even remember where it was, but I screenshotted it and I sent it to my daughter, and I said, it's really sad that when you get more support. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting that way too. I'm kind of selfish too. I'm kind of enjoying my. Good night, Pinky. It's great to see you. Take care of yourself. Um, yeah, I think I'm being kind of selfish too, but see, there goes my squirrel moments, and I forget what I'm going to talk about. But anyways. See, this is live, and when I lose, I can't edit this. So I have brain farts all the time. See, I was going somewhere with this story, so now I don't remember. But anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. I appreciate those. I mean, it's not short. I've been here an hour. Look at me go. I've been here an hour. I'm so proud of and you guys have hung with me for an hour, so that means a lot to me. So thank you so much. But I really am too hard on myself. But aren't we all our own worst critic? I mean, I am. I am my own worst critic. So, but I remember I was going to tell y'all something. And I think it was about YouTube and me, and Ella. We're all proud of you. Keep on pushing. I am too. I am my worst critic, but I can tell people all day long not to, but I am. Hey, good night, plain vanilla grandma, Miss Carol. So glad you hung out with me. But I'm going to go, and thank you again for those of you who hung out with me for the last hour. We did it. We did it. If you're new, just please subscribe, and make sure you subscribe to the other people in the chat, because there are some great channels on there too as well. So anyways, I have enjoyed y'all so much. Thank you again for hanging out with me, and I've got to figure out how to turn this off. Isn't that crazy when you don't know how to do that? All right, you rest well too. Y'all have a good night, and thanks again.